Hopefully this will clear up. So you guys hear me use meetings of the minds. So I decided to give kind of an idea what that would be. And I'm not an attorney, so I just take this with a grain of salt. I never look straight forward. I always look around to be able to protect myself by any means necessary. Alrighty. It's a learning video. So look this up, y'all.
What does sui juris mean? Sui juris is a legal term referring to someone who has full legal capacity for making decisions and engaging in legal activities. The person is not subject to the authority of anyone else and is deemed competent to manage personal legal affairs. Generally, all people over the age of majority are considered sui juris unless there are compelling reasons to believe otherwise. Taking legal rights from adults requires a review process to approve their incapability and appoint a guardian to act on their behalf. This term literally translates as own law, referencing the idea that people can legally act on their own. Historically, minor children have not been considered sui juris, with the age of majority varying depending on the time and the region. They are not held responsible for certain legal actions and are under the supervision of their parents. While it is possible for juveniles to face legal penalties for breaking the law, the court system treats them differently. People can also make decisions on behalf of minors and compel them to abide by those decisions. Mentally incompetent individuals, generally including people with severe intellectual disabilities, are also not sui juris. Courts may also temporarily suspend legal rights in the case of a person with mental illness who is posing a danger, with the understanding that after treatment, the patient's legal independence will be restored. Guardians appointed in such cases are expected to act in the interests of their wards and to request a change in legal status if the ward appears capable of understanding and making legal decisions. In some nations and at various points in history, certain other classes of people have also been stripped of their legal rights. People in bankruptcy, for example, have not always been considered sui juris. Such individuals were subject to rulings from the court and were expected to make good on their legal rights before they could be legally independent. Likewise, historically some nations restricted full legal rights to Malay landowners, while other members of the population were not sui juris. People acting with sui juris are expected to understand and comply with the law. They can engage in legal decisions and will be familiar with the consequences of violating contracts or failing to obey the law. In special situations, people may argue that they are not liable for a crime due to temporary insanity, a state that interfered with their ability to understand the consequences of their actions. The insanity defense, as it is known, can be difficult to prove.
So in general, sui juris, meaning age of majority, right? Age of majority is be able to handle things on your own. But you are an adult when you have to have an attorney. Alright? This is the reason why I go into you cannot understand what they are saying because they use words that mislead you into other things. Okay? If you need an attorney, you're an adult. But every single day, we call ourselves an adult, which is fine on the outside of the courts. But when you're in the courtroom itself, it has a totally different definition to it. When you're in that courtroom, you want to try to be age and majority as much as you can. And which means you are capable to handle matters on your own. You're knowledge enough, you're grown up enough. You're today's terms. You're an adult, and I'll be able to handle these things on my own. But this is the reason why people get attorneys in the first place, right? Because they do not understand the trickery of words, and it's designed that way where you must get an attorney and cannot be age and majority, because once they find out that you can handle things on your own, then they have a tendency to, even though you win in court, you lose in court. And really, it's just such a pain to hold the courts responsible for the actions. And in general, what it is, it's a retaliation, because they want to share into profits, right? And so they obscure these words. You've seen some of these videos when they walk in there, and a lot of people call some of these people sovereign citizens, but they named it that, not themselves. There is some out there that do it, but a lot of them don't even consider themselves this way. It's just because you challenge the courts on your own, you're automatically a sovereign citizen. I'm not a sovereign citizen, but you guys probably label me that way if you see me in court, because of y'all's ignorance. You know, and I'm not being mean. It's just because you go on by hearsay of sovereign citizens. You don't truly go up and look up the different definitions of the different sovereign. You truly don't have a full understanding of these words, or the overstanding of these words, because you really never took the time. You just went by presumptions and by hearsay. And you watch these videos, now it says sovereign on the top of it. So you went by hearsay and not by facts, because you never looked up the definition of the words. So next time you look up these YouTube channels, find out what the true definition it is, and see if that guy in there is just not actually just challenging the courts, or is he trying to be a king. If he's not trying to have qualified immunity or absolute immunity, right? We are supposed to be the boss of the government, but they give all themselves these sovereign rights that we technically don't have by their terms, and yet they want to flip the script and call some of these people sovereign citizens. All right, and this is the tricky of the words. There's a couple of people went out there and said sovereign citizens, but now you got, people label this as sovereign citizens, and there's some out there that act on the behalf of sovereign, but they're not acting as a sovereign citizen. They're acting on the behalf of sovereign. Different definitions, y'all. It's just plain out. You got to understand the definition of these words by facts, not by hearsay. All right. Anyway, I just wanted to bring this video up more along the lines of got that age of majority in there, and it kind of defined the age of majority a little bit, because you guys hear it so often. Okay. So anyway, this is Diesel We the People News. Bye, y'all. Wrong button.